But let's just look at the errors. First of all, Shabuah is not immediately. Well, the Christian New Testament and Acts would have you believe that it occurred immediately after Pesach, Matzah, and Bakurim, none of which they bother to mention, which are the first three Moed Mikre, which make Shabuah possible. Shabuah is a Bakurim harvest. The immediacy, they were off by 1,993 years, to be exact. I don't think that's immediately, even if you were Methuselah. I think he only lived, half of that time. So no, it was not immediately. There came into existence, no, exactly the opposite. On Shabuah, those who are members of the covenant family leave this earthly existence. So rather than coming into existence, they leave the human existence here on earth. And it says out of heaven, just the opposite. Shabuah is fulfilled when, rather than out from heaven, we go out of earth into heaven. The sound of information and news is what follows. And of course, even that's the opposite, because we are now the sound of information and news about Shabuah, about what each of the seven Moed Mikre represent. And it is the very voice providing the Bashar in Hebrew, heralding the news that will be taken in a harvest on Shabuah. So it is going to be the absence of information and news rather than the pouring out of information and news. Like a compelling force. No, Yahowah does not compel. And in all of his Moed Mikre, it is our choice as to whether we wish to participate or not. And in this particular case, those who participate will have met all five conditions of the Bereth covenant, and they will have attended and benefited from each of the seven Moed Mikre, celebrating them on an annual basis with Yahowah, knowing Yahweh's name, which of course didn't exist within Christianity. They had no clue as to what the covenant represented. In fact, they created their own new one because they didn't like the old one. And they don't celebrate any of the other seven Moed Mikre. So it would leave them out of this entirely. But just the word compelling and force is the opposite of what's going to occur on this time. And it says moving inwardly and upholding the breath of spiritual life. Actually, the Spirit is not coming down on Shabuah, but just the opposite. Those who are filled with the Spirit of Yahowah will be withdrawn at this time. And we're not moving inwardly, we're moving upwardly. And it says, and filling the whole household where they were residing. It's hard to imagine that, first of all, that anyone could get every single word in a statement wrong, but that there would be billions of those who would believe that this is from God when every statement is obviously wrong. If you study anything to do with Shabuah, you would know that if you were a beneficiary of it, rather than the household being filled where they were residing, the household where they were residing would be empty. That's the nature of an ingathering or harvest. So Acts 2:2 got everything wrong.